Good. Okay, we're live. Welcome everyone who's watching this as a replay. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with me. I'm setting the intention, and I think I've done this a great many times, but I'm setting the intention to do this every Sunday. Sunday is a really good day to do this from what I can tell based on when you guys are free and when I am sort of in a super mellow, I don't have a lot to do, a lot that I'm trying to take care of sort of space. So hopefully that is the case going forward, and I can be more consistent, and we can do these and reconnect and spend some time with you, see if I might be able to be of some sort of service to you. That would be good, I think.
Earn free crypto just by learning about it. Coinbase Earn is the...
So I'm having a good Sunday. I hope you guys are as well. I can't wait to get some questions going. Perfect. Jay Viru says hello. What's going on, man? How are you? Oh, it's such good weather here in Portland. I live in Portland, Oregon. It's like 80 degrees. I'm in my backyard, just taking in the fresh air. It's a rest day for me today, so I'm not working out. I'm going to try to eat healthy, try to relax, and just enjoy myself. Jay, what are you up to today? Tell me something about yourself. Got my coffee. Talk to me, Jay. Give me something, brother. Whoa, dude says, fix your grass. It's help with your depression. Hey, there's nothing wrong with my grass. Get out of here. Klomog2 says, from Winnipeg. Hope you're doing well. Awesome. Thank you for taking a minute to hang out with me. I am doing really well today. Really, really well today, actually, which I'm thankful for. Very, very thankful for. I'm glad you stopped by. Oh. Vagabond says, hey Noah, I am having the best day since forever. That's so great. Isn't that amazing? I was notably more anxious yesterday. I could tell that I just had a little more of a stress response. I kind of had one of those like, oh, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed type of days. And it got better and better, and it had some redeeming moments, but I could just tell I was a little more emotional, a little more down or something. And then today has been absolutely just easier. I'm breathing easier, my chest is less tight. I just feel better today. So I'm really glad. All that is to say, I'm glad you're having a better day. Sometimes random days can just be better, which is awesome. Let's see. Klomagov says, no, Klolomg says, glad you're doing well, Kat. Yep. Sean McLeese says, all right, buddy. All right. Wody says, bro, that grass has more bald spots than the both of us. True that. True that, whoa, dude. It sure does. It's like half grass, half dirt. But it's mine, and I love it. Ashley Anaheim says, Sam? Zam? We have a super chat from Cal Wildman. Thank you. It was a 99-cent super chat. I appreciate it. It's super kind of you. So thank you very much for that. I don't see a question attached to it, but I'll be on the lookout for it, okay? Abel B says, how's the obsessive thoughts going? So my brain tends to loop and ruminate in general. Sometimes about things that are more upsetting, sometimes just about anything, really. If I'm excited about something, I'll think about it. Occasionally, old conversations from the past that didn't go particularly well, that maybe aren't entirely resolved, I'll come up with those too. I so much don't gauge how I'm doing with obsessive thoughts based on if they're there. They tend to come and go. I'm really, really doing well in terms of how I'm responding to my obsessive thoughts. So making sure that I'm separating Noah, me, versus the mind that runs and of course thinks very fast, often beyond my control. So my ability to handle them and be reasonable with them and not personalize them and or take appropriate action when needed, that's going really well. But are they there? Yeah, dude, they're there. That's for sure. Okay. And thank you everyone who's tuning in with me, who's spending a few minutes with me right here. It's a Sunday. It's 2:10 p.m. here in Portland, Oregon. If you've never been a part of one of these, just know that I'm really glad you're here. They can be pretty fun, but they're even more fun if you're participating. So make sure you leave a question or you or direct the line of conversation or share something about yourself. But leave a comment. I think it makes this more fun. And so help me God, I'm going to stay up to date with these comments. I'm not going to fall behind. Chivos Adventure says, glad to hear you're doing well, Mr. Nono. Thanks, man. Hope you're doing well also, and I appreciate that. Bobby Koski says, I finally caught a live stream. Hey, I finally did a live stream at a normal hour. Glad you're here, Bobby. Gina Ann says, how do I start? Gina Ann says, how do I start sobriety? It's so hard to start day one. Get support. Reach out for support. Call someone. Consider a 12-step meeting. Consider a smart recovery meeting. But I think the most important thing is to make that decision, understand that your brain is going to be pushing for you to go back on it. If you're anything like me and you're trying to get sober out of addiction, out of addictive drinking, or problematic drinking, alcoholic drinking, if there's physical dependency, there's likely mental dependency, and you're going to need support. So get help and don't try to do it alone. That'd be my recommendation. You certainly don't have to. Brandon Tempest, hey, that's cool. Love your content, Brandon. Brandon Tempest says, saw your video on your dad and hope he's doing okay. Yeah, he's doing okay. I think okay is a fair way to put it. I'd be lying if I told you that I thought he was doing well right now. I just don't. But I think he's blessed, of course, and I think that he has a lot of support, and I think he's trying to figure it all out. So thank you for that, Brandon. I appreciate it. Joey Parton 11 says, hope you're doing good, big guy. I am, Joey, and I hope you are too. Thanks, man. KK Loma, haha, my username is KK. LOL. Oh my God, gotta go. Oh, that's cool. That makes a lot more sense. Oliver Hall says, my sister just came by and got my gun. Almost used it in myself last night. Fortunately, my kids were, so that stopped me. Went in their room and watch them sleep. Depression is Jojo. Oh man, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to fumble my words there. Oliver, that's some heavy stuff. I'm really glad you're still here with us. I'm sorry you're going through it. Depression is no joke. As someone who was in a treatment-resistant clinical depressive episode for a long time, I can attest to the reality of it being absolutely no joke. Please get support. Know you're worth it. Be safe, okay? Damn. Joey Parton says, hope you're doing good, big guy. Oh, I already read that. Okay. Dwight Mann says, shoot, excuse me, guys. Dwight Mann says, hello from Honduras. Hey, hello, Honduras. ¿Cómo estás, amigo? It's really cool that you're here. ¿Qué hora es en Honduras? Quiero saber. Oliver Hall says, I'm speaking up today and letting people know for the first time. Good. That's huge, man. It's a really big deal. Right now, I think if you're going through something difficult, which it sounds like you really, really are, then you're fighting for future you. And when I was depressed, specifically, and when I wasn't doing well, I couldn't see past it. And it took a lot of people supporting me and helping guide me to this place I didn't believe existed. So getting help is a big, big sign that you want to get better and you want to overcome this. Rooting for you. Corey Wensky says, do you think that everything we do is to feel better? Sure. Do we do everything to feel better? I think in one way, shape, or form. I don't know that it always plays out in like an inherent betterness. I think you can do something that's difficult that might create hard feelings in the moment in order to stay morally congruent with yourself in the future, and or do something like sacrifice now for the future, work hard now for the future, apply that to whatever. I think that could be the case, if that makes sense. Vagabond says, in the morning, I would read obsessively in the Bible for an hour. Then I was feeling social, so I went to my dad, and I knew that it was time to switch to vape. Switch to vape? Then I went to a church meeting and, okay, I think I know what's going on. Then I went to a church meeting and talked and had a blast. Then cycled home, and the apartment was cleaned by the staff already because it got so late. Then I had to visit from my neighbor, and I managed to stop being angry with him. These all sound like great things, Vagabond. Thank you for sharing. Wodude says, are you following the GME AMC stock market debacle? I am not. Rasmus says, hello, nice to see you. How's it going? It's going good, man. It's just like the weather is so good right now, and the sun is out. I've never done a live stream outside, so this is incredible. I'd like to do more of that this summer. So I'm doing really well. I like how I feel right now. I like how I think. I love how I'm living. How are you? Joey Parton 11 says, road life is hard on you. I'm on the road and anxiety and depression kicks in. That's bus life. Why are you on the road so much right now? I know that for me, just being alone for too long can be less favorable. So I'd be very curious to know what you mean when you said road life. Mrs. Can says, my husband is going through depression. He is feeling a little better for now, but watching your videos has helped me on how to go about it and help him as a wife. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for being willing to share that with us. I'll be rooting for you. I'll be rooting for your husband. And take care of yourself. Don't forget to take care of you. Robert O'Neill says, best wishes from Ireland. Heck yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Best wishes right back to you. VM says, on November 3rd, 2021, I will have 31 years without alcohol. It is possible. That is so, so cool. Thank you for sharing that. That gives me tremendous satisfaction to read. I have 7.5 months now. I'm so, so proud of myself. I'm so thankful to people like you for leading the way. That's wonderful. Sohil Jarith says, hey Noah, when did your depersonalization fade away when you started TRT? I think it slowly got better and better over the course of like 6 months to a year. It was a very slow going thing for me, and there was a lot of things I was doing that were making my depersonalization worse, or at least I was behaving in a way that mimicked a lot of DP. So being massively underslept, highly overcaffeinated at certain times, not managing stress, so not doing anything to soothe my body, soothe my mind consistently. Sugar hangovers from binge eating at night. All of these things for me were very detrimental for the depersonalization, derealization. So it just took time, but everyone's different, and you have to take that with a grain of salt. Anytime you hear me or anyone talk about our experiences with anything, you just have to be reminded that you have your own experience, you have your own story. So I hope that you remember that, okay? Excuse me, I'm just curious. Okay. All right. Karina Christensen says, hello from Denmark. Hey, Karina. That's cool. Hey, Mark the Irishman. Given you lost to me in the gym yesterday. Guys, make sure. So Mark the Irishman is one of my best friends. He's a brilliant guy. He's a very, very smart, funny guy, great athlete. He has a YouTube channel. Please consider checking it out. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Let's read that again. Mark the Irishman says, given you lost to me in the gym yesterday, how do you deal with that mentality? And how do you make it a positive going forward? Well, thank you for asking that, Mark. I appreciate it. First of all, I acknowledge my feelings. And my feelings were twofold. One, I felt happy for you as a close friend, so I wanted to acknowledge that that is an altruistic part of me, to care about you so much that when you beat me, I'm glad. But also acknowledge that I was disappointed that my shoulders are still problematic for workouts in terms of keeping them relaxed. And I think being able to acknowledge both of those is important, and also not victimize myself. And I will not victimize myself, and I will use this going forward by being grateful to have someone like you to train with, and leverage the loss and the issues with my shoulders as an excuse to work extra hard on my mobility. Boom! You're funny. You're a funny guy. Frank Dean says, hi Noah from Alabama. How much does guilt and shame play into your depression or addiction? I have followed you for a long time and am in your corner. Thank you for being in my corner. Guilt and shame played a massive role with my depression and my addiction for a long time. And I think in treatment, one of the biggest things I was able to realize, one of the biggest things I was able to do was separate my addicted self and the behaviors and things that went on there versus my true self, acknowledge the wrongs that were done, take ownership over them, of course, in terms of recompense, in terms of amends, in terms of just being an adult and understanding that actions have consequences. But as far as identifying with them, I really had to work hard to forgive myself and to love myself and to earn some credibility within myself as a sober, thoughtful, mindful person, to know that the things I did in my past, I don't have to be proud of them, of course. I don't have to agree with them, but I don't have to shame myself about them anymore. That doesn't serve me. It's not the real me. That's what I'm trying to say. So learning to separate the two has been really, really important. Felix Kammerer says, do you have to take TRT for the rest of your life? Is it expensive? So I'm on testosterone replacement therapy to address hormone disorder that I was diagnosed with back in 2012. Unless I can figure out why I was so insanely low, and I have thoughts about it, but unless I can be sure, then yeah, I will be on hormone replacement therapy through my doctor for the rest of my life, and I'm perfectly at peace with that. I'm perfectly at peace with that because the risk of coming off and going low again, and how that could manifest in my ability to cope and handle physical and mental disorders, it would be detrimental. It would be crazy. It would be really, really dangerous. It's really bad. The risk is high is what I was trying to say. So I may need to be on it forever. I'm prepared to be on it forever. I have it very well dialed in. I never abuse it. It's not even a thought anymore. I just take the same amount every few days, every couple days, and I just move on with my life. Blood work always looks good. My mental health is way better for it. Physical health, bone density, sexual health, it's all greatly benefited from it. And it's something I'll continue to encourage you guys to do, is just to I won't encourage you to go be on hormone replacement therapy. That depends on your medical needs. But I encourage people to know where their hormones are at. Get out of here, fly! Oliver Hall, I'm in Oregon City. Love this weather today. Hey, Oliver, yeah, I bet you do. It's awesome. Oregon City is close. Glad you're with me today for a little bit. Jordan Ferrari says, I think it's beautiful that you and your dad have a good relationship through all that you've been through. It shows that both of you are able to admit your faults and love each other. We certainly try, and thank you for that sentiment. Joey Parton, 11, says, singing man and entertaining. Oh yeah. ACOB. Did you start to develop alcoholism prior to marriage? Oh my goodness. I think I may have been an alcoholic from the moment I first drank. As far as what it did to my brain, like the moment I started drinking, it became one of the most important things to me in the world. The moment I started drinking, I had a classic stereotypical white light experience. I was 13 years old. Someone's older brother poured 4 beers into a giant 7-Eleven Big Gulp. I drank them as fast as I could because that's what I was told I had to do. They were a bunch of teenagers. I was 13. They were older teenagers, so I wanted to impress them. I wanted them to like me. And it was the single greatest moment of my life. And it created a thirst in me and a redirection of my priorities forever. So yeah, I think I started to develop alcoholism prior to marriage. The physical dependency, that's what took longer to develop. But the obsession about alcohol, that started from the moment I first drank. Jordan Ferrari says, unfortunately, my mom could never admit her flaws and stop hurting others, and it cost us our relationship. That's really, really tough. Setting boundaries with people that you care about is a really hard thing to do. It's a really, really hard thing to do. I've had to experience it more and more since I've been sober, and I'm going to continue to practice and try to get better and better. But I know I can't do anything to risk my sobriety and my wellness, and so anyhow, that's where that took me. Jennifer says, "Hi, no, I thought I was the only one with the upsetting obsessive thoughts." Oh, you're definitely not. I watched your video about it, and the question of is it true is helping me. Thank you, from Ireland. You are welcome, Jennifer. I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad that just talking about this sort of thing can lead us all to not feel so alone. P says, "How did you cure your OCD?" I don't know about curing my OCD so much as managing it and be very thoughtful and mindful of it. And I think just approaching my mental health in general, my addiction recovery in general, my life in general from a balanced perspective has been the most important thing to me. So not putting all my eggs in any particular basket is huge. Minding my bio, my psycho, my social, and my spiritual wellness is balanced and as often as I can is really huge. Seeking help and getting support. There's so many different things, but trying to just balance it all and do it all, it's been really helpful. Lots of reality testing, you guys. That is a huge, huge thing for me. Like yesterday, I got it in my head that my wife was maybe angry with me or I'd done something wrong, and I started getting insecure, and nothing had happened. It took me a while later in the day to put a few things together to know that I'd been triggered by something, and I processed it. But I was able to soothe myself by asking myself a few questions, talking to myself. A lot of reality testing. It helps me a lot. Jennifer says, "Say hi to your lovely dad from us." I will. Thank you, Jennifer. Robin Stanley says, "I have tried almost every med and had ECT, still depressed for 2 years. Is there hope? I'm 50 years old." Robin, I do think there's hope. But first of all, I'm so sorry that you've had to hurt for as long as you have. It's not fair. It's not right. And you're very brave. And I'm so glad you're still in the fight. I want you to check out Douglas Block's YouTube channel. I want you to go to healingfromdepression.com. Douglas is a good friend of mine. He's a depression counselor, mental health counselor, you could say. An educator, I suppose is what I should say. He has known so many different people, and so have I, that have overcome what seemed like irreparable mental health episodes. He himself later in life has gone through long bouts of depression and overcome them. I have met people from all over the world now who have had unthinkable mental health issues and had bleak outcome expectations with them, and still are able to get better. So never give up is what I'm trying to say. Consider testing all of your hormones as well, all of them, making sure that they're in order. Keep getting support. Never ever give up. Sir Tibbs says, "Hello, Noah. First time catching your live stream finally. What advice can you give to those people trying to support those with addiction and depression? Much love from," I hope I say this right, Souk, British, what the heck? Souk, British Columbia. Well, I'm glad you caught a live stream. I'm glad you're here with me. The biggest piece of advice I could I could offer you is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself better than you ever have before. How are you sleeping? How are you managing your stress and anxiety? How are your interpersonal skills going right now? How's your physical self-care? How's your diet? How's your exercise? How's your self-esteem? I would say it's a really, really good time to take inventory on all of those things first and foremost. I think it's also a really good time to refresh on boundaries. What boundaries do you want to set for yourself with the people you care about, who you're trying to support? I think it's really important to investigate something like the victim, perpetrator, rescuer triangle. Go ahead and look that up. I think it's a great idea. Make sure that you're not getting into a codependent space. Make sure that you're not getting into an enabling sort of space. I think it's just making sure you're healthy, because the healthier you are, the more likely your consistent support behavior, but reasonable boundary setting sort of thing, I think it all gets better. It inherently goes up. And then educate yourself on all those things I suggested, and then on whatever your person is going through. Yeah, just look after yourself. It's the best advice. I had a lot of people who didn't have anyone to recommend that to them when I first got depressed, and they took on too much too hard. They personalized too much too fast, and they got burned out. They got really, really burned out by my mental health issues, and then it led to a lot of problems. Maris said, did you stretch yourself horizontally on purpose? I'm not sure what that means, Maris. Vagabond says, vape is a vaporizer, so I can smoke without tar. It's way cheaper, so I save money and can finally afford to eat something other than just bread. I'm so addicted to tobacco and nicotine. I see. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Rasmus A says, I hate to be honest about answering how are you because I'm really depressed, wishing I wasn't alive, and feel I am being a downer by being honest about it. No, you're being a real, authentic person by being honest about it. I'm not the type of person that suggests we should put that on every single person that we speak to, but this is your anonymity is safe here. Typically, most people have avatars or alias usernames and stuff on YouTube. If I ask you, I want to know. And if a friend asks you how you are and you're not well, I think it is your responsibility to tell them you're not doing very well. You don't have to, it doesn't have to go further than that, but I think getting used to speaking the truth is important. And I think that we're mind reading when we assume that by sharing our truth with another person, we'll be creating a problem for them, and like there's something bad or wrong about being honest. The likelihood that you or I can improve and get better exponentially goes up the more honest we actually are. Within reason, within boundaries, but test that out more often, I think. Okay, that's just my thought. Self-improvement. Do you still use Klonopin? I do not. I have not used Klonopin in 3 years, I think. 4 years. Brand new bad idea. I'm 7 weeks in on TRT. Did you feel the urge to work out or get healthy after the weight gain? I have a lot to lose, but struggling with the motivation. Yeah, I definitely felt an urge to be vital and to be active and to be physical when I started my TRT. When I was diagnosed with hypogonadism in 2012, I had no energy, I had no libido, and I had no physical response to stimulus. I couldn't get stronger, I couldn't build muscle. I was so incredibly weak and lethargic and just messed up. So yeah, I gained a bunch of weight, started lifting fat as well as muscle. I gained a lot of interest in exercise, and then over time I started learning how to lose weight and diet because the two didn't go together very naturally. But yeah, over time I've just increasingly been more interested in being healthy. How can I do that? What does that mean for me and all that? So keep at it, and perhaps consider your relationship with fitness or diet or working out. Don't make it such remove emotion from it and just make it a part of your schedule. Get used to it. Meet yourself in the middle and as far as what you're willing to do and what you're not, and see how that goes. Jennifer H says, hi Noah, good to catch you live. Hey Jennifer, good to be caught. And, oh man, that was a cheesy thing for me to say. And I'm glad you're here. Frank Dean says, thanks Noah. Also, thanks for introducing your followers to Douglas Block. What YouTubers do you like to follow? You're welcome. Douglas is a godsend. I love that man. He's a special dude. He's a quirky scientist. Wow, I love that guy. What YouTubers do you like to follow? Let's see here. I'm really big right now on following health and wellness people. I love educational content in general. I really enjoy video editing and video production content. I'm trying to just learn as much as I can about how to be a better content creator. Let's see. I've got Screen Rant. I think Awaken with JP is pretty funny. I follow a lot of CrossFit channels, Proven Fitness, Life According to Jimmy, Eric the Electric, that's my guy. Yeah, it's too many to count, but let's just say I try not to follow too much as far as... Oh, I've given this question too much time. That's what I got. I'm going to move on. Oh, interesting. Cal Slater says, I was diagnosed with macroprolactinoma with low test at 18 nanograms per deciliter. Whoa, that's low. Short version, it caused severe depression, I'm sure, fatigue, and no drive in life. Get checked out and multiple opinions. It's a lifesaver. Yeah, that's huge, you guys. Yeah, in my description, I'll make sure it's in this one. All my other videos, you guys can get your blood work done at home through Let's Get Checked. Discount code NOAH20. Consider checking your hormones, supporting the channel. Scooter's World, do you still prioritize aesthetics or just performance now that you only do CrossFit? I mean, I want to look good naked. I think it's really fun to see how you can morph and mold and develop your physique, but I very much prioritize performance, 100%. I want to look as good as I possibly can, but not compromise any athletic or performative abilities. Robin Stanley says, rock shot. What was the cause? I'm not sure what that means. Rishab Kaneja says, are you still on TRT? I am. Oliver Hall says, I have to go. Thank you, Noah. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Rockshot 100, do not obsess over anything. It makes matters worse and cause circle of bad thinking. Just know that it is not what you want to do is enough. Do not judge yourself. I agree. Salty Apple, excellent name. I subbed to your channel 7 years ago. Wow, when I saw one of your videos talking about this, so enlightened and openly made me take steps to improve my life, even though it took a while for me to really do it. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's so cool. Joey Landoli says, hey Noah, been a fan of your channel since I entered derealization state upon contracting Lyme disease 4+ years ago. One of my treatment plans includes hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Interesting. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy has been shown to help a range of mental illnesses such as anxiety, OCD, depression, PTSD. Have you ever considered it? No, I have not considered hyperbaric oxygen therapy, nor have I heard anyone talk about it. That's fascinating to me. I'm going to send myself a message to look into this more. That's so cool. So cool. Hyperbaric chamber for mental health. Thank you for letting me know that. It's a real bossy thing of you to do. Robin Stanley, rock shot, 100%. Are you better now? Scooter's World. How can I help my girlfriend that constantly deals with depersonalization? I wish you'd been here, or I wonder if you were here, I guess, a little while ago when I was talking about this. But I think anytime someone you care about is going through a mental health crisis, I think it's just, I'll just keep saying it because it's one of those things that I think we could all talk about every day. So I think it's really extra important for you to take care of yourself extra and set boundaries for how much time, effort, and energy you're going to put into being a support system, and make sure that you're not falling into a place where you think that it's your responsibility to heal, fix, or make better a situation that's largely out of your control. So I think the best thing you can do is just to be as consistent for yourself and for her as possible, be as healthy for yourself and for her as possible, be as sound and reasonable and practical with her as possible, not to take on her emotions when she's having a hard day, to be a voice of reason for her. I think those are the things you can best do, which all stems from how well are you taking care of yourself. Learn about her condition, understand what you as a partner can and cannot do as far as improving it, and then make sure that you're processing your own emotions, your own thoughts and feelings, so that you can, of course, support hers, but without taking them on. Stay in a place of empathy and not sympathy. Jennifer, you should be a counselor. I love how you explain everything. Thank you, Jennifer. It's on my radar for the future. I definitely think I want to be a counselor long term. Rockshot, thyroid problems, body chemistry is way off, and of course they psychs never tested that. You will never feel normal with that off. Okay. Nice comment. Manrico01 says, great channel, Brooklyn, New York here. Have you talked about diet? I haven't really talked about diet. As far as my diet goes, I tend to eat whole foods most of the week. So typically I train I train very rigorously 5 days a week with one active recovery day and then one day like today, Sunday, where I'll go for a walk and stretch. That's all I'm going to do. On my training days, I tend to have the same, hi girls, on my training days, I tend to have the same breakfast every single day. It's usually around 2 or 3 p.m. I work out typically at 6:30, and I just have a bunch of oatmeal, a plant-based protein shake, peanut butter, raisins, bananas, stuff like that. And then afterwards, I tend to have a big portion of meat, a starch, rice, potatoes, something like that, and then veggies, sometimes frozen. Often frozen, actually, just very convenient. I don't eat them frozen, but they start frozen. That's what I typically do for my diet. And then I will have like a day like yesterday where I just go absolutely ham bone and eat ice cream and cookies and a burger. I'll just go crazy, kind of a refeed day. And then days like today, I try to go OMAD. So like on Sunday, once a week, I will attempt to only have one meal today and try not to go over about 2,000, 2,500 calories. G-Man says, any tips for making friends? I do have a tip for that. I think one of the easiest way to make friends is to find people that are like-minded. And one of the easiest ways to find people that are like-minded is to join group scenario. Ooh, Ellie, thank you. Hi, puppy. It's my dog. Is to be a part of like a group experience, a running group, an arts and crafts group, a gardening group, a cycling group. I have a CrossFit gym, right? A CrossFit group, a church, a recovery group if you're in addiction recovery, a mental health support group. But I just think getting together with people that have some sort of common ground with you anyway, that can make it easier to communicate and sort of connect and level with someone, is a really great place to start. King says, best cardio, walking or running? I think the best cardio is whatever cardiovascular exercise you're willing to do consistently. That's the best cardio. So if that's biking, hiking, running, cycling, swimming, I don't think it really matters so long as you're comfortable doing it consistently. What's that? Or lifting weights as fast as possible, for sure. King says, oh, Tropical Fruit Loop says, she means your aspect ratio is off. No, is it? No, I think my aspect ratio is perfect. Believe it or not. Or maybe YouTube does stretch it out, actually. I don't know. I just don't know. Mara says the video output is slightly stretched horizontally. I really don't know that it is. Now I gotta take a hard look because this is important. Let's see. One moment, friends. One moment, friends. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that it is. I don't know. Man Rico says, I don't see any video stretching. There you go. Retnex says, my therapist suggested giving up hope, by which he means expectations that things will go any specific way, good or bad, and just focus on the process. Do you agree? I don't know that I agree with that specific wording, but I definitely agree with letting go of expectations. I think it's really, really important to focus on things that are tangible, like contentment, right, rather than happiness. That's a huge one for me. This was something that was specifically impressed upon me in treatment when I was in rehab, is to not try to be happy, but try to be content. Try to live in congruence with who you really are, who you want to be, what your values are, what's important to you. Those are things that I can objectively control. How my mood does, I can try to influence, but I can't really control other than, a hot shower is relaxing. Going for a walk is good for mood. I can stimulate my brain chemistry that way, but sometimes it's more just about being dedicated to a healthy process, being at peace with what that process is and how it works for you, I guess, and then going from there, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Do you feel, oh, sorry guys, my live stream is, let's see, there we go. M Lying says, do you feel TRT contributed to your hair loss? I've read that it may have sped it up, but I was already balding before starting TRT. Rock Shot still talking about the hormones, which isn't bad. Endocrinologist never fixed the problem. It took a kind of GP to look at my labs to fix the problem. Psychiatrists think everything is in your head. It may not be. I do think that's true as well. Jessica Jade says, proud of you for how well you seem to be doing. Thank you. I'm definitely doing well. Not without my struggles or my moments or my issues, but in general, very well. And I appreciate the kind words. I hope you're doing well. Melvin Nicholas says, just subscribed a few days ago as I'm year sober yesterday. Hey, congrats, and see your channel. It still scares me, the thought of socializing without it, but I need to learn. You absolutely can learn, and that's fair. I think a lot of us use it as a social lubricant. I've come to find out, even myself, who I think I can get along socially very well, but I do have more angst as far as how social situations are going. I tend to analyze them more than I ever remember doing as a drinker. As a drinker, you take that edge off, you start to get out of your right mind and into this artificial high, and suddenly your perception of things is smaller and different. And as a sober person, I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot of worries, and I do notice them come up in situations where I have to ask myself, like, is there anything to be worried about? Am I sure about that? And socializing can be hard, but it does get better. And I think, there's a lot of power in just saying, hey, I'm a little socially nervous right now, to the person you're trying to be social with. I hope this is going okay. I get nervous trying to make friends or whatever. And I think that can give an air of honesty and just purity to a situation, where then someone else might say, hey, this is going great, and or hey, I get nervous too. And then you guys can sort of level with one another. JT Jordan says, hi Noah, I have bipolar 1 and autism. I subscribed to your Patreon a few days ago. Is it still active? No, I think I noticed that. I need to shut that down. If anyone ever wants to have a one-on-one conversation with me, you can donate $100 to my PayPal link in the description, and we'll set up a Zoom call. I'm thinking of starting a YouTube membership, but I'm hiring someone to manage it and help me be more professional and more helpful. I will reach out to the 2 people that signed up for the $100 a month Patreon thing. And if you're one of them, I'm glad you just hit me up here. It's on my list for Monday for what I want to do. Because if you want to chat with me once a month or however often, we can set something up outside of Patreon. I thought I closed that, but I guess I didn't. So sorry about that. Arthur says, hey man, I have DP, anxiety, depression, and want to get in good shape just like you. How do I even start? I know nothing about diet and exercise, and online information is so complicated. I think the most important thing is to give yourself kudos for wanting to start. I think just the want is really important. That means you're open to exploring something new, something different. I think it's also really important to understand that this is all a journey. I'm still learning. I don't think I've hit my final form. It's a process, and you're going to take a few steps forward and maybe a couple more back, and then a few more forward, and then half a step back as you go. The best thing to do is simply to start. Now, when it comes to understanding what would work best, I think there's a few things everyone can agree upon, which is movement. Any movement every day is good for you. So maybe decide what movement you're going to do every day, which is going to help support you, right? Are you going to go for a walk for 10 minutes in the morning? Are you going to do 20 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and 20 jumping jacks every day? I'm making up random things, but my point is, you're going to do some type of movement. You're going to learn about diet and figure out what kind of diet would suit you. You're going to start trying to make healthier choices. You're just going to start. You're going to continue to learn from people online who you seem to connect with, and you're going to try things out. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn. You can, of course, hire professional help. You can consider going to like a local gym, like a CrossFit gym, for example. There you will have community. You'll have a bunch of people trying to do the same thing, which is good. You'll have support, you'll have leadership, so there'll be people telling you how to stretch, what to do for exercise, how to cool down. That'll take the burden off of your plate there. And if it's not CrossFit, it could be Orange Theory or whatever. But just connect with people that have some experience, and then try things out and see what works for you. But don't stop. It's a lot of advice, I suppose, or a lot of thoughts, but I hope something there stuck. P says, I have been training in the gym for 5 years. I have decent gains. My coach says that I should jump on 400 milligrams of test a week, TRT. In your opinion, does it make you aggressive and more appetite? So I'm on 120 to 130 milligrams every week under the supervision of my doctor to treat hypogonadism. So when I hear you say jump on 400 milligrams a week, I think that's a really, really aggressive thing to do. I don't judge you, of course. You can do whatever you want. But that's a lot. That's over 3 times what I take to manage my hormone disorder. So I have a lot of questions for you is what I'm trying to say, P. I don't know how old you are. I don't know what your diet and your lifestyle is like. I don't know what your hormone profile is. I don't know what your mental health is. I don't know what your social health is. I don't know what your lifestyle is like. So there's too many things for me to possibly know where to go with this conversation. But no, to answer your question, no, it's never made me aggressive. It's not how that works. And what makes you aggressive is having low T. It did raise my appetite like crazy, and I got pretty overweight when I first started. I wish I could talk to you more, because I have a lot of questions for you. Foil Grim Timmy says, bro, are you still struggling with booze? I feel you. I am not. I'm not struggling with booze per se. I'm over 7 months sober, and I'm really, really thankful. I have struggles with my thoughts. I can have struggles with stress. I can have struggles with sleep, things like that. But not with drinking, and I'm doing really well at not behaving like an alcoholic either. Carrie Childress Jr. says, oh, there we go. Your videos on depression helped me seek professional help 2 years ago when I was suicidal. I'm in a much better place now mentally and physically and have since lost 40 pounds. Wow, thank you so much. That is so, so great. Or is it Kari? Might be Kari. Either way, I'm glad you shared that. That's so amazing. Good for you. Good for you. Vagabond says, so many good things happened today, so that's why I was so excited. Heck yeah. I switched to vape, released all my anger, found new strength and faith in the Lord. I've never felt so good, and it's like the problems never existed. There you go. Take it one day at a time. What goes up must go down. I don't want to rain on your parade, but I do want you to be mindful of the fact that, emotions and thoughts and feelings, they're ever changing. So enjoy this moment. Enjoy this moment. Rockshot 100 says, psychiatrists love to keep you in the need of meds. You must find a doctor who cares, and there are not very many doctors that do really care. I respect your opinion, that's for sure. Jennifer says, anyone here in AA? Our Zoom AA meetings here in Ireland are also open to USA, so you can definitely anonymous and great with the time difference if you can't sleep. That's a really good reminder. So I do partake in 12-step. It's been only about once a week that I go, but I did do a Zoom this week. I do think it's a really, really great way to instantly know that you're with a bunch of people that understand, that are doing the same things that you're trying to do. And that's a really good reminder that any time of the day, 3 a.m. you can't sleep, 3 p.m. and you're just in the afternoon bored, you can find people to be with. Kenneth Peck says, I have low T, I'm scared of needles. Help. Kenneth, look into Androgel or a topical cream that might work for you from like a compound pharmacy. Talk to your doctor. Foil Grim Timmy says, all I do is gym. I think it's saving my life. I do a lot of gym as well. I'm in the gym training specifically about 10 hours a week, 11 hours, maybe more like 12 hours a week, and I'm coaching about 4 hours a week. So it's a big part of my week, that maybe 5 hours a week there. But yeah, I spend a lot of my evenings in the gym. It satisfied my biological health and my social health. It's so good for those things. And then I just have to make sure I find balance with everything else. Rockshot 100 says, steel cut oatmeal is the best. Oh, my live stream just did something funky. Where'd it go? Rockshot says, steel cut oatmeal is the best. I simmer for 40 minutes, then make enough for a week. Good tip on making friends. No, I have lost friends over the past few years. I've lost some friends too. And good reminder that there's steel cut oats, because they're really good. How's that doing? Okay. Rockshot says, Noah, your head looks too big for your body in the pic only. My wife said the same thing. I really like that pic. I'm trying to grow my brand as just like a person of wellness. So just physically in shape, emotionally in shape, spiritually in shape, all that stuff. And I'm trying to find like the right look for myself. So I'm trying out that picture. And that's funny you should say that, because my wife thought the same thing. Yeah, what can I say? We're going to give it a shot. Esoteric Fitness says, hey, you taking anything for anxiety? I'm not taking anything for anxiety. I guess I do take like L-theanine sometimes and some magnesium. I do take vitamin D, which is really good for mood in general. So that, of course, plays into anxiety. I take relaxation for anxiety. Herbum Od Lepa says, is it psycho going TRT with 22 years old and 10 of free test? I have normal total testosterone but low free testosterone because I have huge SHBG. I really admire you. Thank you. I can't advise you. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to. Your free is very low, and I think you should research and talk to your healthcare provider or just get a lot of support online. Find information on how to lower that sex hormone binding globulin. Maybe start there. I think getting on TRT is not a small thing. I think it should be avoided if possible, if you can address things naturally. And if you haven't controlled all the things that you possibly can, then I think you should do that first. I think that's the smarter, more reasonable choice to make. But at the end of the day, you have to do whatever you think is best for you. That's for sure. Arthur says, is Oregon a nice place to live? Yeah, it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here, especially in the summertime. I think we have spring, summer, fall. I think the summer, fall in Oregon, depending on where you're at, but the Pacific Northwest in general is gorgeous. It's very green. The air is fresh. The bugs are minimal. So it's a very cool place to live in that respect. The political landscape and the social landscape has been kind of tough here lately, but we don't have to talk about that. Stony Hayes says, I'm not balding and on TRT. Good for you, man. Yeah, I don't think being on TRT makes you bald. I think it, if you were going to be balding, it will potentially speed that up. None of your damn concern says, I take Klonopin, but still having sleep issues, sleep trouble, irritability. Might be tolerance, might be my body not being hyped on booze. But any tips to deal with angry outbursts? I sometimes publicly break down. I think that I don't have any like specific tips for you and your story. I just don't know enough to even wager a thought, nor can I, of course, treat or diagnose. Not that you were necessarily asking that. I would say that something I think we can all do is continue to explore our rationale, our thinking, right? Are we participating in logical, reasonable, self-loving, and verifiable thinking? Are we getting into magical thinking? Do we know what our intentions are and our motivations are behind the things we do? Are we making excuses for things? Are we underplaying things? Are we overplaying things? So maybe my suggestion to you is to get professional help. Maybe sit down with someone and really go over the way your mind's working, the way you're living, the way you're using the medications you have, the timing of them, the safety of them. I think just taking a macro view of what's going on could be helpful. But I'm saying all that in such a general way because I have no idea what's really going on with you. I know that mood swings can be difficult. I know that the more consistent, holistic, and stable my behavior is, the less erratic my mood is. But you throwing in something like a benzodiazepine into this question, which is what Klonopin is, it's a very powerful med, and I just don't know how that's impacting your thoughts. I just don't know. But be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, and just keep learning and getting support. Stony Hayes says, where he reading the questions from? I have just a little live chat section, little box here. And by the way, and we don't have that many questions coming through that I can't get to everyone, I think. I'm certainly going to do my best. But if you guys ever want your question just to be boom, at the top, first thing I see, consider making a donation to the channel, a super chat. I genuinely do appreciate it, and it puts your question at the top, lets everyone know that you support the channel, and then I'll be sure to prioritize it because you're spending your hard-earned money. But if not, it's certainly not, if not, that's fine. And I'm really, really glad you're here supporting me and spending time with me anyway. Truly, truly. D.H. Ruve Gautam says, hey Noah, I've been praying for you since quite a long time. Hope you're well. Noah, I cannot survive a single day without benzos. Any suggestions? Talk to your doctor and be very, very careful if you decide you might want to consider tapering or micro tapering. But it sounds like you may have a physical dependence. And then just keep loving on yourself, man, and keep doing a good job at taking care of yourself and being true to yourself. Paul Wharton says, haven't had time recently to view YouTube, but I am subscribed. How's the TRT going? How are the numbers? PSA. I've been on TRT injections for 4 years. I'm 56 years old. Paul, things are going really, really well. My numbers are good. Optimal end of the range for everything. PSA is good. I'm on about 130 a week, split into 2.2 doses a week. So I do every 3 days, I guess you would say. I'm in a really consistent, stable, and good place right now. I think I'll do a blood work video the next month. I think it'd be a good idea to get more blood work and be open with you guys about that. But it's going well, and my relationship mentally with it is going even better. So I hope you're doing well also. This emoji from Skate or Hate 55. Tropical Loops, Fruit Loops says, there is a reason why free test is low but total is normal. Yes, SHBG does tie up free test. Drew Gautam says, I have absolutely no productivity without benzos. Also, what are the long-term effects of benzos? These are questions well outside my scope. But yeah, again, it sounds like you're addicted physically to them, and they're highly addictive medications, so that would not be surprising. But I know that you have to be very careful coming off, or I don't know why you're on them. So, Kenneth Peck, sober 393 days now. Now low T, scared of needles, help. Topical cream, good job being sober. Paul Wharton says, FYI, my mental status has greatly improved. Heck yeah, good. Esoteric Fitness says, are you off all meds? You off all meds. I am off all meds, except for I take a T4 for my thyroid. And of course, my bio-identical testosterone twice a week, low dose for my TRT. Will S says, I missed the weightlifting videos, you lifting weights. Well, Will, you will not have to miss them much more. I hired my first employee, kind of have two now actually, but I have someone who's making content for me, He's doing more filming and editing, and we've got a new fitness video coming on Monday, and I would love to incorporate a fitness video every week. So we're going to try to get there because I love sharing that part of my life. Ivor Biggin says, look at your B12 levels, people, and vitamin D also. Good call. Ambience Your World says, can testosterone sipping cause breathing problems? I have heard some people talk about getting their testosterone elevated and then developing like some sleep apnea and some snoring. But no, I don't think it impacts like breathing problems, but I think weight gain can impact breathing problems. 1 second, team. What's going on with, are we doing anything or no?
Yeah,
Oh, I can be done anytime.
it's at 4:30.
Sure, where?
Probably half an hour.
Hell yeah, sounds good. All right, guys, let's keep these going. Jennifer says, I completed rehab in December 2020 for alcohol. Does anyone have the reoccurring dream that they are drinking again? Jennifer, I just had a drinking dream like, man, 2 nights ago. And when I was in rehab, I think I was drinking in my dreams or drunk in my dreams every night for the first, for the first month. I'd say for the very, sorry, my brain just went, for the first month. Do you want that? Hang on, guys, sorry. 15 minutes, and I will. If you're willing to wait 15 minutes, I'll go. And if you're not, that's okay. You're not going to wait 15? Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry, my wife asked me if I wanted to go on a walk. I guess you heard that, or you may have heard my response to it. Where are we? Okay, Jennifer, yeah. So, lots of drinking dreams. It's super normal. That's one thing I can tell you. I learned that in treatment. It's incredibly normal. Nothing to worry about. I just got a $10 super chat from, I think, Jennifer. Yeah. Jennifer says, this chat is easing my anxiety, so thank you. You're welcome. This is really good for my anxiety, too, just to spend time with you guys and to feel useful and all that stuff. So you've been awesome, by the way. I really, really appreciate just how much you participated. Really cool questions. Awesome sharing in terms of just learning a little bit about you, and we get to know you this way. We were both in rehab in 2020, so we have a lot in common. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for supporting the channel. And I have a super chat from Dominion09 for $10. So thank you both of you guys for supporting me. Dominion, I didn't see a question though, so I will look for one right now, okay? But thank you very much for the donation and the super chat. It means a lot. It's really, really nice. I got employees to pay now, so that's cool. Let me look for a question from Dominion though. One sec, guys. I don't see anything. Okay, we'll keep moving. I'll keep an eye out for you, Dominion though, 09. If you drop a question, I'll be sure to find it as fast as I can. Where was I? Alexander Smith says, are you anti-vax? I'm pro-safe vaccines, and I'm pro-informed consent. That is what I am. So no, I don't think I'm anti-vax. I've had all my vaccines. But I am pro-safe vaccines, long-term studies, and then individual freedoms to decide what they will and will not do with their bodies. Christian Bennett says, I just started Testosterone last week. Your videos have been a help. I'm glad I could help, Christian. I'm really glad I could help. Be patient, my friend. Take it easy on these first 2-3 months. You're going to be in transition, figuring it all out. So just be calm, be patient. Christian Bennett says, dude, I'm from Oregon too. I live in Tiger. It's sick. It's awesome. Rockshot 100 Noah, I have been your friend for 4 years. Wow, you are my buddy. You helped me out a lot with the TRH. How many days after injecting do you take your blood draw? I was on 100. Doctor bumped me up to 150. Nice. I have done blood draws like on all the days. So typically they would draw my blood, and test the levels on my trough day, which is like right before I would take my next treatment. We want to make sure that I'm not too high. But I also was really curious to know where I was on 24 hours, 48 hours post-treatment, 72 hours. So I've tested it everywhere, but I think the gold standard is your trough. You just want to make sure that you're settling into your levels right before you go up again. Hope that helps. More frequent the better, but for me, every 3 days is as frequent as I'm comfortable going. Christian Bennett says, I didn't know you were an Oregonian. I am indeed. Lifelong, essentially. Born in Cali, though. Rockshot says, it just depends on when they take the blood for testing. Advice? I think I just gave it on that one. Omar Eldeep says, my name is Omer. I wonder if exercise helps your mood. It does. It 100% does help your mood. Lots of cool evidence about that, too. Just Google how exercise helps mood, and you're going to see or YouTube or DuckDuckGo, wherever you search, you will find lots of cool information on how your brain just releases feel-good neurochemicals and endorphins that will make you feel good. Raksha says, my injection is on Sunday, and no, you never get used to the needle. I agree. It sucks every time a little bit. Just don't think about it. Inject it in the butt. So Monday it will be very high, then Friday it will be very low. Any advice? Yeah. I found that doing doing 60 milligrams every 3 days is just really nice. I don't get a lot of peaks. I don't get a lot of valleys. So my advice is to do it every 2 to 3 days under the supervision of your doctor with his support or her support. US Crunch Gaming, hey man, great to see you doing great and looking great. Strong mind, strong body. Thank you. I appreciate that. Christian Bennett says, do you think a shot of tequila a day is bad for you with food while also being physically active? I mean, I don't think drinking is inherently good or bad, right? I think it just is what it is for different people for different reasons. So I suppose if you're only taking one shot with food a day, yeah, I can't imagine there's a problem with that unless you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, if you're doing it because you can't not do it, then there's something to look at, right? It is poison, so it's not good for your body, but it doesn't seem like it's going to do too much problem or create too many problems just doing it once a day in such a small quantity. So if you can really just do one shot of tequila with food a day and just part of your lifestyle, good for you if that makes you happy. think it's just making sure you know. No, why? Tell Dr. Porter shut up. I do not know what that means, Officer Ollie. Officer Ollie says, tell Dr. Porter to shut up. I'm pretty sure he also... I don't know that I like Officer Ollie. Is he a nice person? I am going to hide him. Hide user. There we go. Best of luck to you in your life, Officer Ollie. I hope you find peace and happiness, brother, and whatever's got you stressed. Okay. P says, I'm 8% body fat. Hey, I eat every 3 hours, 350 grams of protein per day. Wow. Work out 3 times a week, full body. My test levels are 900. I love bodybuilding and I'm seriously considering test D. I mean, geez, man. Your total levels are fantastic. You're lean. I mean, yeah, do whatever you want to do, but I don't know that it's worth it. But sounds like you got yourself pretty dialed in, so good for you. The 350 grams of protein per day, that's nuts. I wonder if you need that much, but hey, if you're happy and you like what you're doing, do it. I think I get like 200 a day. Ambience Your World says, thanks. Yes, you're welcome. Ivor Bigham says, Rasmus says, what is your recommendation for exercise for a depressed person who can't hardly even get out of bed? Oh my goodness, maybe just start with going for a walk. Get your hormones checked to make sure that's all dialed in. Get lots of support. And maybe just start with a 10-minute walk. I think anything you do to move is a win. I don't think putting expectations on what good exercise or bad exercise is important. I really don't. I think it's just whatever you're willing to do. So lower the bar of entry. Omar Eldib says, can you film yourself exercising more and talking about diet and mental health? They really inspire me, and I was wondering if you think marijuana is good for mental health. I'm 19, or is sobriety better? I think that's a personal decision. I'm going to get more fitness content and more diet content. I just hired someone, for those of you that are just tuning in. I got my first employee, and we're going to film a lot more content because he can take over the filming of things I want done right, and he can also edit the videos for me for the ones he does, which will lead to more content, which will be cool. When it comes to weed, I certainly don't judge anyone who wants to smoke or drink or live their life however they want to, but I think it's just one of those things that you have to know why you're doing it. Why you're doing it. If it's to escape anything, or if it's because you think life is not as good without it, I think that's something to look at and to question, to ponder, right? I think being sober is pretty special because you have full access to yourself, and you're able to be, well, I'm able as a sober person to be certain that my thoughts and my wants and my needs and my excitements and my motivations and my dreams and my motivations are very much dictated off my right mind. And as a drinker, and I can't speak for anyone as a smoker or a drinker, but as a recovering person who was an alcoholic, alcohol being in the mix changed who I was, how I thought, why I thought, all those things. So I don't know if weed does that for you, but yeah, only you would know. I guess I just don't know. But if you're using it to escape, I guess that's where I think it could be problematic. If it just happens to come up in the flow of your life sometimes, but you're just okay, you're just as much okay without it than you are with it, then yeah, there you go. Jennifer says, thank you, I'll definitely have to sign up for a Zoom chat. That would be really cool, Jennifer. I'd love that. Dominion09 says, couldn't figure out how to send the question. Oh, but you just sent that question. Oh, there you are. Dominion09 says, how do you deal with negative thoughts? It's one of my favorite topics because I have to negotiate them all the time. But negative thoughts are something that we all experience. And reality testing those negative thoughts is something that takes practice. So I deal with my negative thoughts by first and foremost asking myself if they are true and if I can prove it. And I almost never can. And this has to be black and white, no gray area, definitive without a doubt. Are the things I'm thinking about that are negative, can they be proved in their entirety without any question? And if I'm not sure, then I can practice reality testing with other people. I can use tools such as ABC therapy, which is going over activating events, belief systems around those events, the consequence of believing or thinking the things that worry us, disputing them, right? Just really making sure that we understand where it's coming from and why, and then creating new effective belief systems. There's this other tool that I talk about sometimes that maybe you guys have heard about. Maybe you haven't. I hadn't until I went to rehab, and it was brought to my attention, but it's called Triple C, and that's catch it, check it, change it. So it's just being really in tune with how your body and your brain are responding to different things and where the things are coming from, and if you really think they're true. So there's that. There's also something I remind myself of, is that the mind is always thinking. You can influence thoughts, you cannot control them. And so once you've done your reality testing, once you've determined if something's true or not, then you have to remind yourself that it's none of your business what you're thinking, in my opinion. It's how you act and what you do about those thoughts that matter. And then also remember, Dominion 09, anyone who might be curious about this topic, remember that you're not a victim. And so if there's something you want to do about those thoughts, do it. Like, if you think you could have tried harder at something and you're obsessing that you didn't try hard enough, make sure you try harder next time and say, okay, I don't want to feel this again. I'm going to try harder. Or if you think that you said something that hurt someone's feelings and you reality tested it and you can't be sure if, well, obviously you wouldn't know unless they told you, but you can always call them, right? That's my point. You can take ownership. You can take action. You can do something to not fall into this like, oh, I'm in trouble, there's something wrong, when there really isn't. Yeah, I hope that helps. It takes a lot of practice. I have to do it all the time. My little worried brain goes all over the place. FM says, hi, I fucked up. I'm an alcoholic. I might lose my job tomorrow. I'm so anxious. It's 1 a.m. I can't sleep. Sorry, man. Or if you're a gal, I'm sorry. You might be an alcoholic and you might need help. You might need support and you might lose your job tomorrow. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that tomorrow will come and it will pass, and you're going to have the chance and the opportunity to get help. You're going to have the chance to get sober. You're going to have the chance to do the work that's required to change your life. And you can get to a space where you never have to experience this feeling again. That's available. That's possible. Right now it sounds like you're just in a lot of despair, a lot of pain. I would soothe yourself as much as you can. Relax yourself. Be kind to yourself, and maybe talk to someone. I'm glad you talked to all of us. And just know that this too shall pass. It will. And everything is going to be okay. Rockshots at P900. Dominion 09 says, how do you deal with negative thoughts? Oh, we talked about that already. FM says, last time I got caught, I promised I wouldn't. Oh, sorry, my live stream just updated. Sorry, guys. Here we go. FM says, last time I got caught, I promised I wouldn't drink. Okay. There you go. It's part of the cycle, my friend. Chris N says, hey, man. Hey, Chris. UMM says, do you think it's possible to start back drinking again after being mentally addicted? I quit drinking 7 months ago and had anxiety after I stopped, but no physical shakes, etc. I'm also 21. So do I think it's possible to start back drinking again after being... So it's interesting you say mentally addicted. I guess I'm not sure what that means. Do you mean like... Yeah, when you say mentally addicted, just like, are you talking about just like the thought of alcohol? You're just addicted to the thought, so you obsess about it and you think it's going to do something for you that you can't experience without it. Are you talking about like delusional thinking, like, oh, life can never be good without alcohol, so I better go back? I'm grasping at straws. I'm just not sure what you mean. But I wonder why you stopped drinking. And I wonder if you think the reasons you stopped drinking won't be there when you go back to drinking. There's only one way to know. You can play the tape through, right? You can use insight and say, this is what happened before. You can reality test the likelihood that it's going to happen again. If you really don't think that you're going to end up in the same position that led you to want to get sober in the first place, then you're welcome to try it again. But but you will have to, of course, deal with the consequences of whatever may come or may not come. So I think it's just being really honest with yourself and make sure you're not BSing yourself when it comes to why you'd want to go back to drinking. Being 21, though, is definitely tough. But I'm rooting for you. Be nice to yourself either way. Peace as I'm 26. Hey, young studs. Agilos Raftakis says, are quad injections dangerous? I don't think quad injections are dangerous. No, not in my opinion. I do aspirate every time that I pin. So I'm on TRT, and I do pull back on the syringe to make sure I didn't hit a blood vessel. As long as that's clear, I think they're fine. Adam L says, hey Noah, based on your experience with fitness, is it still possible for someone approaching their 30s to transform into their desired physique? Thank you and keep well. Yeah, absolutely possible. Now, I want to be clear that if you have, this is such an important part of my story, but if you have like no testosterone in your body, so if your hormones are destroyed or your thyroid is completely out of whack, you're going to have a very hard time developing fitness and physique. But as long as you have a fair chance, as long as your hormone levels are good, then yeah, of course, man. Of course. I've seen people transform their bodies way later than that. Ditching the Drink says, hi Noah. I was 10 months sober up until a couple of weeks ago after a death of a relative. I'm sorry about that. Tonight, I've not touched it, so onwards and upwards, hopefully. Absolutely. Look, it sounds like you had a lapse, and it doesn't mean you have to have a complete relapse, right? It's possible that you weren't doing the things that would keep you less vulnerable. It's possible, and only you can know that. Like, were you taking really good care of yourself? Were you minding your recovery? Were you minding your thoughts and your physical self-care, your social wellness, your spiritual and emotional wellness, your recovery work? Maybe this gives you an opportunity to look back on your sobriety and say, hey, what were the things I was doing that were helpful? Where was I lacking, and what can I do to better prepare myself for stress? Because that's the thing that I've been taught, and I'm really preparing myself for, is that stress will come, life will come, really tragic situations like the one you experienced. I'm sorry to hear that. They're going to happen, and your ability to stand firm and sturdy in your choices and your wants and what's best for you and your responsibilities, it's going to really hinge on your stress management and your wellness, right? Taking really good care of yourself. So hopefully this is onwards and upwards. Hopefully you have really good reason to be sober, you know why, and you have support. I know for me and from what I learned, the first 30 to 40 days of getting sober are particularly tricky, right? Because your brain is still in a diseased state. It's restabilizing and recalibrating from everything I've learned in my addiction curriculum. So you are liable to have some intrusive thoughts and urges and hormonal responses that are not indicative of what you actually want or what's really going on. So your brain's going to tell you you need to drink and you don't. But it's tough, so get support. These are my thoughts. Rockshot says, my brother had a terrible drinking problem. However, he went for alcohol to know it all. He's obnoxious. Sorry to hear that. Chris Hall says, do your tattoos have a backstory? I could really use motivation to stop drinking. I imagine you have the motivation to stop drinking. If you're even thinking that you want motivation to stop drinking, that should be your motivation to consider stopping drinking, I think. And yeah, my tattoos have there's a lot of backstories to my tattoos, and I would love to make a video about that soon. There's just too many to, well, you know what? I'll tell you about one of them. So let me make sure I got the screen. So this tattoo here is it's a cross that says promise. I'll give you a little backstory on my cross that says promise. I was really suicidal. I was not doing well. I was incredibly hopeless, and I was having a lot of thoughts of hurting myself and cutting my wrists. Really scary. And I decided, I think this was after I got out of the psych ward. So I was put in the psych ward on hold by my family. And my dad came in one day and he said, you don't get to give up on life. You know, you're going to survive this and all that. And I got out and I went straight to the local tattoo parlor, and I asked him to put promise on my wrist. And it was a promise to myself and my family that I wouldn't hurt myself. And I just put a cross to remind me to turn to God, to the universe, to my higher power, to just make me brave and not let me hurt myself. And so it's my constant reminder to survive no matter what. Kind of made me emotional. Raspinay says, thank you for your answer, Noah. I think I'm going to start walking more. Good. Do you think riding a bike is good? Yeah, absolutely. In addition to severe depression, I have issues with high blood pressure, so I really need to prioritize losing weight. Yes, I mean, we all need to prioritize being healthy in our body weight, but I think just prioritize loving yourself, prioritize healthy motivations, and prioritize little baby steps that are going to make you get better. Oh, you did wait for me? Why didn't you tell me? What's that? Well, I would have never known that you were waiting for me. 6 minutes. Yeah, because I want to be able to sign off and read a couple more questions. But if you can wait 6 more minutes, I will go with you. And I hope you do. I think you should. You got it. Okay. All right, guys. So my wife wants to go for a walk, and I definitely want to go for a walk with her. So I'm going to read questions just so I don't disappear on you instantly. So we'll sign off at 3:30 my time, 5 or 6 minutes from now. Thank you to everyone who spent some time with me. This has been a great live stream. Awesome questions. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate it. I don't know how to say this name. Olafur Ingi Sigurdsson says, hello from Iceland. Love your content and your dad's content, so thank you. That's cool. Really, really cool to know I got someone from Iceland. Thanks for the kind words. Hello right back to you. P says, thank you for your time to help others. You're a good person. Keep the great work, friend. Thank you. It's nice of you to say. Camille Florian says, hello from Australia. Winter just kicked in. Inspiring stuff. Crazy. Hello back, and thank you. Omer Eldeeb says, do you enjoy exercise? Yes, very much. 5 days a week, couple hours a day. Very important to me. Imash Ambokish says, hi. Hello to you. Rockshot says, lots of great advice, Noah. Thank you. I hate the idea of shots twice per week, but hey, it would be better. My doctor said the same as you. Yeah, something to consider. Blue Bee says, I discovered your channel not too long ago through your dad's. It's very interesting and really appreciate your approach. Greets from France. Well, thank you for checking me out, so to speak. Greetings back to you. I've never been, and I appreciate you. And I'm glad you're here, and I think it's cool that you said that. Aiden Turbrock says, do you still get derealization? I do not, but I can get really bad brain fog, which sometimes makes me think I'm getting depersonalized if I don't have my anxiety in check. And there's a big difference. So I think the better I take care of myself, the less likely that is to happen. Freddie says, I'm on TRT. There you go. Me too. Eric Ramsayer says, hey, Noah, I know there is a lot of heavy comments out there, so I just want to let you know that you're doing great work. Keep a smile on your face. Thanks, Eric. There are some heavy comments sometimes, but it's what I signed up for. But thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Rockshot says, if someone has negative thoughts, they need to stop judging themselves. I agree. Stop judging. Don't judge the world or yourself. These are all great advice. Self-improvement says, do you use Klonopin? I do not. Haven't for a long time. Yvonne Kuhlmund says, I like your voice. Be strong. Hello from Germany. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for checking in from Germany. That's cool. Greg says, you should save this for a video. Yes, this will be saved for a video. All my live streams wind up as videos. Mark the Irishman says, what's it like? You're still here, Ked? Jeepers. Mark the Irishman, one of my best friends. Please go check out his YouTube channel, guys, if you want fun, lighthearted content from a really smart, clever, and funny guy. What's it like being a famous social media creator? I wouldn't know, Mark. I really wouldn't know. But if I ever get famous on here, I'm going to call you brother, and I'm going to talk to you all about it. Greg says, 6 minutes, Doug E. Fresh, you're on. Greg says, yeah, walk. Good. Scooter's World, how many days a week do you train CrossFit? I train CrossFit 5 days a week. What do you do on your rest days? I go for a walk. I try to foam roll. I try to do some banded work where I just like wrap up my joints, my arms, my muscles with some voodoo floss, some tissue work, things like that. I try to meditate and stretch. Yeah. Noah, Rockshot 100 says, Noah, were you ashamed of your low test? We both discovered our problem at the same time, so I found you and you made me feel much better about it. I used to freak out at the pharmacy and still do some. I wasn't ashamed of my low test, but I did develop. I was so thankful to find out that there was something wrong that I could treat because I was in a treatment-resistant depression. What I did create, though, was an unhealthy connection to being on test and over involving my identity with it, which has gotten much, much better over time. So having a healthy identity and having a healthy relationship with test, I've gotten better at that because it's part of my wellness, it's part of my recovery. Chris Hall says, thank you from England. Heck yeah, thanks, Chris. That's cool. Eric says, everyone liked the video. Thanks, Eric. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'm almost done. Ken, hi Noah, I've been following your videos for many years. Is it possible for you to do another episode of Big Bro, Little Bro? Oh, wow, that's crazy. I'll reach out to Lukey and see if he wants to. John McEvely says, Evely, hey Noah, thanks for all your cool, informative content. Quick question before you started TRT. You said you struggled with making any results. Was it hard to gain any strength prior to TRT? Oh yeah, I mean, I had like almost no testosterone. It was very hard to gain strength and all that stuff, for sure. Very, very hard. Caleb Neal, and I was clinically depressed, so I didn't have a lot of motivation. Caleb says, hello from Chicago. Thank you for your content. Oh, what's up to you too? Hello, Caleb. And information. You really helped me bring out of a dark place. You helped bring me out of a dark place. You're an inspiration. Thank you, Caleb. Jennifer, good night all. Thank you. Hey, many Europeans watching. It's late night here. Thanks, Blue Bee. Steven says, insulin syringes for tests. Yes, they work great for me. How about alcohol and sex life? No alcohol. Sex life is improving. Okay, we got through every comment. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. No joke, it means a lot. I don't take it for granted that you're here. You all have busy lives. You're spending some time with me. I'm just a face on the internet, but I care about what I do. I care about you guys. I care about people with similar interests or struggles. And just know that I'm filled with gratitude for you. I hope to see you in the next video. We will talk again soon. I'll try to do this next Sunday. Be good to yourself. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, okay? Adios.